His name is 23-year-old Ahmed Almesbahi. He was a student at UCCS when he was arrested last October. Arrest papers obtained by 11 News outlined the gruesome way he allegedly tried to end his girlfriend's pregnancy. According to court documents, he got a knife and started cutting into her stomach, telling her he was going to, quote, take it out. He then reportedly used items including a shish kebab skewer to induce an abortion. The woman lost the baby the next day. Charged with several felonies, including the unlawful termination of pregnancy, he was facing life in prison if convicted. An El Paso County judge dismissed all the charges because the victim returned to her home country, Kazakhstan, which meant she couldn't testify. You may be wondering why body-worn cameras could be helpful in a case like this.
We try to train officers in trying to develop a case where we don't have to call the victim in case they don't show up in court, are reluctant to come forward, disappear on us.
Camera footage as evidence is a benefit in documenting officers' interactions with suspects and victims following a crime, especially domestic violence victims who may later recant. The district attorney's office tells me in El Paso County, 50% of domestic violence victims take back their story the very next day.
Part of it can just be knowing that they may have to be in front of a jury someday explaining maybe the most intimate thing or most serious thing that ever happened to them in their life. So it is difficult sometimes to get prosecutions on these cases.
As for victims who may not be cooperative, prosecutors say body camera footage helps them capture victims' statements and reactions right after a crime. But interviews recorded on body-worn cameras cannot be used unless the victim is in the courtroom.
That's still hearsay and inadmissible. So there are pieces of evidence we can use when the victim doesn't show up. There are some that we just can't use unless they're there. That's what's frustrating. If you have a victim who skips the country, it can be very frustrating for us because a lot of times we don't have the resources to find people around the world, and we then review the case and see, can we still prosecute this case? Sometimes we can, more times than not we can't.
The DA would not comment directly on the dismissal of Almesbahi's case because the judge sealed it. Officers who responded to this crime had not been outfitted with body cameras yet, but the district attorney hopes it will help prosecute other cases in the future. In Colorado Springs, Jessica Light, KKTV 11 News.